welcome to Healing Powers TV. I'm your host, Laura Powers, and I'm here today to talk to you about fairies. The fairies have been wanting me to communicate with you because they would like the message out there that they are real. Some people have heard of fairies and probably have thought of them as fictitious beings, but in fact they're real. And the fairies are part of the elemental kingdom, and the elemental kingdom has to do with the plant and animal world. And each being in the elemental kingdom relates to one of the elements, such as air, earth, water, and fire. So each of the fairies and elemental beings are connected with one of those in particular. So flower fairies, for example, would be from the earth element. So they will come to us in many different ways, and their main mission here is to help protect our plant and animal world. So they often work with those who have a life mission that involves that. So I've been working with them to help protect the planet and also to help people understand that we are not the only beings here. And even if you don't see them, that doesn't mean that they're here. They aren't here, excuse me. So one of the ways that you might sense fairies is if you just, for lack of a better description, feel like there's magic in the air. I recently was up at the fairy caves up in Glenwood Springs and just felt like there was a lot of fairy energy. And sure enough, in some of the pictures that I took, they did appear in the pictures later after I developed them. So why would a fairy show up? They show up to people who are working with them, for those that they trust. So you have to earn the trust of fairies. Unlike angels, who you can just call on at any time, the fairies are very selective about who they appear to. So whenever I see a fairy, and I've been blessed to see fairies several times, it always feels very special and very magical. The way that I would describe where they are is that they are here, but basically in a different plane. So kind of their plane overlays our plane, which is why you don't necessarily see them all the time. And in order to see them, they have to decide for you to see them. So you can show up in nature. A lot of times people will see them outside, of course. But surprisingly, I've seen them quite often in my room, in my bedroom at night. And for some reason, it seems that it's easy for them to appear in that state when people are at or near sleep. Then they'll make an appearance, and they can look a lot of different ways. I've seen some that looked very much like Tinkerbell is depicted in Peter Pan, which always cracks me up, like a little ball of light, and then inside there's a little figure that you can see. I've also seen them that looked like butterflies, or some that look like a person but smaller. With wings, with beautiful wings. So one of the very common depictions is that they have these beautiful wings that look like butterfly or dragonfly wings. But there are some that look very different. For example, air sprites, which are of the air element, might have a very clear or white appearance and be almost see-through or translucent. So those, if you see them, it's not going to look as much like a fairy as what you would have seen in childhood pictures. So I invite all of you to invite the fairies into your lives, and just know that when you do that, they may show up right away, or they may send you little tests so that they can make sure that you're trustworthy of them revealing themselves to you. Also, if they feel that you are not believing them, they might do little tricks for you. I have a friend who had some really funny experiences with the fairies, hiding things like her left shoe and just being a little mischievous. So they definitely have that reputation, unlike angels, who are probably not going to be as playful. But that's one of the wonderful things about fairies, is that they are here to help us. They're here to help us with the plants and animals and just protect the environment, but they're also here to help us have fun and not to forget that fun and festive part of life. So next time you're out in nature, or even in your own room, just invite the fairies to make themselves known to you, and then see what happens. And just know also that you don't have to see them for them to be real. A lot of people sense them or might hear them, and sometimes you'll see what is not even like the physical fairy, but you might see little twinkly lights. So those could also be a fairy in physical form. So I hope that this has been helpful for you, and encourage everyone to just at least be open to the idea that fairies are real. If you want more information on Healing Powers TV events and my podcast, you can go to www.healingpowers.net. Thanks for watching.